everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kotsi, and on today's video I will be talking about a series that I discovered on Netflix. But before I even get into the series, guys, I would like for you guys to like this video, comment down below with your comments if you've watched the series and if you're going to watch the series, and also subscribe if I haven't told you guys to subscribe as yet. Subscribe, click on the notification bell to become part of the Sweetie family. So another thing that I would like to say is, guys, disclaimers, this video is a spoiler, so if you're one person who doesn't like the spoilers, I'm sorry as geese, but this video is a spoiler. I will be talking about the series The Smart Money Woman. It is actually a book that was turned into a series. So it is the Smart Money whew, it is the Smart Money Woman, and I'm not sure when was it released, but I actually discovered it back in the beginning of September, but I only got time to really binge watch it towards the middle of October. So this series is about 5 ladies. You know, as ladies, we tend to make weird money choices, but what I liked mostly about this series was that it was funny, it was entertaining, but at the very same time it was educating. So you learned, it was one character you could relate to. It was either you could relate to Zuri or Adesua or Ladan, I think. Guys, forgive me for the names. It is a Nigerian film, so I'm not good with pronunciation, so forgive me for the pronunciation of the names of the ladies. So Zuri was actually she was actually into investments. From what I could hear, her career, she was a career woman, right? She was into investments. She was she worked for an investment company. So she had a boyfriend in the beginning of the series. That's how we got introduced to Zuri. But then her boyfriend got engaged, and her boyfriend was like, it's nothing. But unfortunately for her, her boyfriend covered most of the expenses, and as a result, she ended up using a lot of her money as well. She lived a certain lifestyle. She lived a lifestyle that she could not afford, if I may put it that way. She lived a lifestyle that she could not afford. She had a Mercedes Benz, and the way when she eventually looked at her finances, she saw no man, she can't afford the lifestyle that she is living. So that was Zuri. Zuri was the one living above her means. And then Tammy. Girl, Tammy was a fashionista. I think she was a fashion designer, but we saw that she had her own shop, right? And Tammy, her family was well off, so she did not have to worry about money. All she knew was to spend money. And when Zola was the responsible friend, when Zola would advise them on money issues, she was like, you only live once. That was her attitude towards money. So she was like, you only live once. And then Zola was the third friend. It was a group of 5 ladies. So Zola was the third friend. She was the responsible sister, right? And she was the elder sister, right? She saw her family go through tough times. So she was that person who was like, I don't want to struggle. So the money that I have, I will spend what I can afford. But she made some wise decisions, you know. So we will unpack the different episodes as we go on. I'm just introducing you guys to the characters. And then there was Adesua. I hope I'm saying it correctly. And then there was Adesua, and she was the working wife. Her husband was a hustler. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you will hear the situation as I unpack it even further. She was the working wife. She supported her husband. She supported her family and everything. And her husband only, he didn't have any income. Oh, excuse me. All he had to do was eat their money. So, yeah. And then lastly, was it Ladun or Ladan? Or Loda, something, but she was a housewife. Her husband was I think it was the prince, because the father was a chief. So they had a company, they had money. So she married into money, and she was just the housewife who did not have to worry about money. So those are the 5 ladies. And in the beginning of the series, in the first episode, we get introduced to Zuri's story, right? Zuri was the business-minded lady. She was a career lady. She worked at an investment company, as I've said before. And then she comes back from a holiday, right? She comes back from a holiday, and from that holiday, she's broke, right? She had designer bags, she had designer clothes. She was staying in an apartment that was damn expensive, guys. That was damn expensive. She was driving her car, her lavish car, and she came back from the holiday, right? And as she came back, she landed in Nigeria. She found out that her boyfriend was engaged to another lady. Now, when she eventually talked to the boyfriend, we learned that he said, let me not say we learned, he said the engagement was just a business deal. He loves Zuri and all that. But I'm happy that Zuri was like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with you. You've heard me, it is enough. From now on, I will support me. I will do me. Even though she didn't have money at the time, and you could see because she was struggling. Her car broke down. She was struggling with that. Her car was breaking down. And then she couldn't pay her rent. The landlord was like knocking on her door. Like, where is she? What is she doing? So even though she was struggling, she was like, you know what? It's fine. Samaya, I have nothing left in the relationship. You've hurt me, it's enough. You've made me a laughing stock on social media, so it is enough. And then after that, Zuri meets a certain guy. I forgot his name. I don't know why I forget his name, because he's such an important character in the series. Wait, guys, wait. I just made a huge mistake. I just checked what was the names. Zola was Zola was the guy that I'm like, he's the one that we fell in love with. And then the girl's name was not Zola, it was Lara. Lara is the responsible sister. She was the older sister. Oh my goodness, I don't know how I mixed them up, but yeah. Zola was the guy that Zuri met in the first episode, and Lara was the responsible friend. She was the one who was always giving advice. Oh my goodness, I don't know how I forgot or how I mixed that up, but it's cool. Anyway, we met Zola, right? Zola was this guy. They randomly met. Like, he was like, do you need help? Are you okay? And Zuri was already feisty because she was from a relationship. She was heartbroken, man. And you know what? She was at that stage where she was like, I don't want anything that will make me depend on a man or anything like that. So in the first episode, then we learn about emergency funds. We then learn about investments and different types of money, financial information, and I am happy that I watched it because I learned about different things: assets versus liabilities, having an emergency fund, and the financial, and having a budget, how you spend your money, what causes you to spend the most of your money, and looking at your money, the way you spend money, kind of what they call it, your spending patterns, and different like that. You learn, there's so much to learn from this series, and everybody has their own takeaways. So for me was liabilities versus assets, emergency fund, checking my spending patterns. So that's what I liked about this series, is that it was educational. More than anything, it was educational. More than anything, it was like you were learning. It was entertaining, but you were learning. I learned how to look at my budget. I learned how to be responsible with my money. Things like the smaller details that you never really pay attention to. They are the ones that actually make you spend a lot. But anyway, you guys will watch the series and see what you guys can learn from it. Genuinely speaking, I'm not just overhyping it. It is a great series. You will learn about different things, especially money related issues. You might learn about them there. Even insurance, they tackle insurances and all that. So yeah. Anyway, Zuri now was then learning all of these things, and she was looking at how much she spent on lunches with the ladies, how much her preferences, the same type of champagne she drank, she would get it at a different price. And why did she have to go to a certain different place? Like, the way she now checked her lifestyle, like how her lifestyle was expensive, how was it, like could she manage it, and how many liabilities did she have in her life. So that was the first episode, and she was already learning. And then the second episode sees us into still Zuri's life, but then we learn more about the ladies, right? We learn about a certain lady. I forgot about her name. She was just too cocky for me, too pretentious for me. She just, everything to her was about money. Money this, money that, money this, money that, money this, money that. To a point where I was like, "Oh, gang, it's fine. It's a game. We heard," but only to find out, no man. Yeah. This series, I don't wanna lie, it teaches you so much about money and how to handle money. And I think I'm gonna go buy the book. Anyway, after Zuri, then we learned about Adesua. Adesua was she was the wife. She was a lawyer. She was getting there. She was going to be promoted. She was a female, making her mark. And her husband Soji was just, he was a scrub. That's the nicest way I can put it. He was a scrub. All he said was like, "You have to respect me because I'm the man, I'm the guy." And the mother-in-law, Soji's mother, was like, "No, he's my son. My son should be respected because he's the man. The man. What does the man do? He doesn't even bring in a cent into the family." But anyway, there are some people who are still respectful and they prefer to be house husbands and the wives are still working, and I'm cool with that. But then if you're disrespectful, if you don't acknowledge your wife's work, if you are just like, what man, that's the nicest, what now, everything. It's like, and on top of that, so she had the nerve to cheat. Like, how do you cheat using your wife's money? Like, how good we see, but anyway, he still had a way of doing it, and I just did not like Soji. In the end, I liked, even though Soji left with Adesua's money because they shared the same card. Her salary was going into the card. Everything, she was using the card to buy groceries. They had the same card and one income. No different cards for it. Okay, that's your money, this is my money, and no, it was the same card. For some people it works. I don't know how, but for some people it works. But for that couple, it did not work because Soji now ran away with the money. I think the girl's name was Chinas or something, and they ran away with the money only for something weird to happen to them and Soji to end up in prison and all that. And now the mother-in-law, who was treating her badly, who was just unfair to Adesua, was just like, "Girl, I need you to get my son out of prison because he's your husband and you have to respect your husband, even though it's not next year, but you have to respect him." And it was like, ugh. But in the end, I was happy Adesua got out of that and she lived her life, man, because she was made partner. I think she was made partner and she was flourishing with her son, and I was happy for that. I was happy for her because in the first place, I never understood this joint thing. Everything comes from one bank account. Let's bank account A1. Dikoloto to banking accounting A1. Grocery is banking accounting A1. Everything is just one. I never understood it. But at least she got away from that. And then Lara. Oh my goodness, Lara. My favorite, my personal. Okay, as much as I love Zuri, but Lara was my second or personal favorite actually. She was the responsible sister, man. She was the one that was supporting her family after her father died. Like the family came in, they took everything, they took their house, but she was the one to provide her family with everything. She just supported them, man. And sometimes it's difficult emotionally, so financially she was sorted, but emotionally it was draining her because now she had to be both the sister and the mother, even though the mother was around. Even when the younger brother was making mistakes, the mother was not reprimanding her younger brother. So she had to step in and reprimand him. She had to do everything. She had to make the threats. So in that case, it was emotionally taxing on Lara. But you know what? She managed to build that relationship, and finally her family saw everything that she's been doing for them. They didn't take it like take it for granted. Like, they were taking her for granted, man. They were taking her for granted. Her, especially her younger brother, was taking her for granted. She bought him a car. She bought him anything he wanted, and all she was asking for was that he finishes his degree because he was almost done. Haikehani, our passions are different, right? Haikehani, but at the very same time, that's where communication comes in. You have to talk to your elders, to people, and just be like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. I want to do this. I don't like this anymore. I want to do that. And Lara was that person. She was the responsible one in her family, and they took her for granted. And finally, Leanna was happy for her. Finally, she put her foot down. She was like, you know what? Enough is enough. If you want to do whatever you want to do, it's fine. I have no objections. But please do not do it with my money. Because now I work hard. I wake up every morning. I go to work. I work hard for my money. So don't waste my money. So I was happy for her. And then came Ladun. To be honest, now my takeaways were from Lara and from Zuri and from Temi. When it came to Adesua and Ladun, I could not relate to them because I have never been in their shoes. So when Ladun's husband, like, their family went bankrupt, and then they had to adjust like their lifestyle, and the family, Ladun's family, had a problem with it because they're used to a certain lifestyle, even though now they're technically broke, like they don't have money, but because they're used to a certain lifestyle, they just wanted to carry on with the lifestyle. So for me personally, I could not relate to Adesua and Ladun. The three people that I could relate to was Zuri, Lara, and Temi. So with Temi was the girl, man. Temi was living her best life. She came from a well-off family. Her father was well-off, so they were well-off in the family. And Temi, man, Temi. She had a business. She was a fashion designer. She had her own shop. But the problem with her was that as money came in, she was spending it. So as it was coming in, she was spending it. She had no savings account. She had no investment accounts for her business, even for her personal life. So Onanga, in, out. There was no like safety net for her if something bad was to happen. And unfortunately for her, something bad did happen. Her workers, people that were suing her dresses for her decided to go on strike. And when she did not give them the salary increment that they wanted, they left. So she was left with the problem. She does not have people and she does not have people that will sew her dresses for her. So that's when she realized, no man, I don't have a safety net. And Lara was the one that came in to educate her, like, hey, Bona, you need to have a safety net, you need to do this, you need to do that. And even though she would stray away from that path, even though she took her financial journey, but she would stray and then come back, and that's what I liked about that group of friends. They were there. If you were straying, they would come and put you back in place, like, girl, come on. And that's what Zola did also for Zuri. Zola was now the new boyfriend, and man, that relationship, in the beginning, I loved it, and I still love it till now. But there was also a point where I felt like he was being unfair because he was going to look at himself as her savior. He helped her through her financial woes. But it is what it is, man. But all in all, the series is educating. Like, it is nice. You learn about your financial decisions. You learn how to take a step back and look at your financial decisions that you're taking now. Lena, as a student, I learned how to look back and be like, okay, cool. I don't have a lot of liabilities. The only liability I have is my everyday things that I have to buy, and they're necessities. They're not necessarily liabilities, they're necessities. But I've learned to look back and be like, okay, this is how much I have how much am I saving, how much am I investing, how much am I doing this, how much am I doing that. So I would highly recommend, if you're just out there living life and you don't have an investment plan, and you don't have even if it's not an investment plan, a savings plan, you don't save, so you don't have an emergency fund, I would highly recommend you go watch the series to entertain yourself for fun, but then after that, take it seriously and start researching and finding out about your money decisions and how you you tackle your money issues. And that's what I learned from the series. I learned how to look at money differently. I learned how to look at money differently, and I'm happy that I watched it. I'm happy, even though it was educational, but I'm happy, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys do like this video. Do subscribe to become part of the Studio family, and comment down below about your experience when watching the series, and what you guys liked, what you guys took away from the series, if you did take away anything, or if you just watched for fun, man. So yeah, do comment down below, and I'll see you guys on another video. Mwah. Goodbye.